Good morning, Redeemer. I'd like to spend the next few sessions going through one chapter in the Bible. This chapter is in the book of Romans, and Martin Luther thought Romans was right at the centre of the gospel. He loved the book of Romans. It was in Romans 4 that he first found the wonderful doctrine of salvation by faith alone. And he never lost his love for Romans. And right at the centre of Romans is chapter 8. And we're going to spend 5 sessions just going through, picking out one or two things in chapter 8. And we're going to start at the beginning, which is a very good place to start. So, verse 1 of Romans 8. There is therefore now no condemnation for those who are in Christ Jesus. Such a simple, straightforward verse which contains such a wealth, a mountain of truth. But it starts with the word therefore. And our salvation begins at this point. But because of what's happened in Romans, what Paul's been talking about in Romans chapters 1 to 7, it means that that's where we start. We start with no condemnation. And the amazing, wonderful thing about the Christian life is that is where we always start, no matter what. And it's because of what's going on before. So that's why Paul says there, therefore, because when there's a therefore, we have to look at what it's there for. And the therefore in this case is all that's happened, all that Paul explains about what Jesus has done, our state before God, what Jesus has done for us. And it's a little bit like going to a wedding. One of the biggest weddings I've been to in the UK had 320 guests. That's 320 people for the service when they got married, 320 people at the photographs, quite a challenge, 300 people for a meal afterwards, and also in the evening for a dance. Now, I just turned up, enjoyed the day, and those two people who got married are still friends, very good friends of mine. And what's interesting is that all that preparation was done before. There were people to decorate the hall. There were musicians who played in the service. There were people who prepared food. There were people who put chairs out and put them away and put them out again. There were people who cleared up afterwards. There was all sorts of things going on. And that preparation took a long time. And all I did was to turn up. And that's in a sense what happens when I got saved. This verse, this no condemnation for me in Christ Jesus, is because Jesus has done it all. So many non-believers say to me, well, I couldn't sustain the faith like yours. I don't think I could keep it up. And my response is, no, of course you can't keep it up. But you don't have to get to a place. You begin at that place. This is where we begin. No condemnation. This is a wonderful place to start. This is where we start every time we come deeply into God's presence. Every time we come to worship on a Sunday morning. Every time we come to pray. This is where we start. No condemnation. So we're going to be going through a few other verses, and you can have a look at Romans chapter 8, read through it, and you can even try and figure out what's the next verse we're going to go through, but you'll have to wait until tomorrow. Okay, bye.